Hey there! If you're looking for a fun and easy way to earn rewards, including cash and prizes, check out the link in the video description.
Chad Daybell was convicted for the murders of his first wife and the children of Lori Vallow, bringing justice to a years-long saga, and now he faces a possible death sentence. The self-proclaimed Doomsday prophet was found guilty after roughly 6 hours of deliberation in the trial, which started on April 1. More than 60 witnesses were called to testify against Daybell, 55, who remained expressionless as he stood next to his legal team. The verdict comes a year after Daybell's mistress-turned-wife, Lori Vallow, was found guilty of the murders of her 2 children, JJ and Tylee, and Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell. Vallow was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, Daybell could likely be hit with a death sentence at the Idaho Department of Corrections. If this happens, Daybell faces an execution at the same chamber where convicted serial killer, Thomas Creech, suffered a botched execution earlier this year. In November 1974, Creech was convicted of 5 murders and was sentenced to die by lethal injection in February 2024. However, the execution was delayed when prison officials were unable to locate a vein to insert in 4 and was eventually called off by Josh Twalt, the director of the Idaho Department of Corrections. The medical team could not establish an 4 line, rendering the execution unable to proceed, the Idaho Department of Corrections said in a statement. As a result, the death warrant will expire. The state will consider next steps. 3 medical personnel tried to find a vein to inject the deadly 4, trying several spots in Creech's arms and legs as he was strapped to the table. With each failed attempt, the medical team had to clean Creech's skin with alcohol, inject a numbing solution, clean the skin once more, and place the 4 catheter in a vein, reported the Associated Press. After the botched attempt, Creech's legal team filed a motion for a stay in the U.S. District Court. Given the badly botched execution attempt this morning, which proves IDOC's inability to carry out a humane and constitutional execution, undersigned counsel preemptively seek an emergency stay of execution to prevent any further attempts today, his attorneys said. At the time of writing, Creech still remains on death row. The prosecution argued that Daybell went to extreme lengths to fulfill his romantic relationship with Lori Vallow, 50. The couple met at a religious conference in Utah in October 2018. After this, Daybell searched Vallow on Google, learning about her then-husband, Charles Vallow, the prosecution said. At the time Chad and Lori met, their spouses were alive and well, said Fremont County Prosecutor Lindsay Blake. Charles Vallow and Tammy Daybell were alive. Lori and Chad were both married, but Chad was Googling about Lori. The prosecution said Daybell and Vallow saw their spouses and children as obstacles that got in the way of their love. Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, shot and killed Charles in July 2019 in what he claimed was an act of self-defense. Cox would die later that year. Charles's death was ruled a homicide and Lori Vallow is currently awaiting trial in Arizona on charges of conspiring to kill him. Lori Vallow has been sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of murdering her 2 children. She has also been charged with conspiracy to commit murder in relation to the death of her ex-husband Charles Vallow. Here is timeline of events that led to her arrest, trial, and conviction. On October 19, 2019, Daybell called 911 after reportedly finding his wife, Tammy, dead on their bed. Less than a month later, he married Vallow in Hawaii on November 5, 2019. Daybell justified the affair by telling Vallow that they were married in a past life, said the prosecution. They were married to other people, but because they had been married in prior lives, prior probation, prior creations, everything they were doing was okay, said Blake. Daybell described himself as the leader of the Church of the Firstborn and spread his beliefs to his followers, which included Vallow. Daybell, a self-published author of Doomsday books, believed he had the ability to determine when someone was close to dying, which he called a person's death percentage. However, Daybell's defense attorney, John Pryor, tried to pin the blame on Vallow and her brother, Alex Cox. Lori Vallow knew what